There's breaking news involving President Trump, and that is leaked audio. It appears like this leak would likely come from the author one of the authors who was helping Mark Meadows write his memoir as serving the President of the United States, ultimately as Chief of Staff, and meetings that you would do to people that were in the book they're writing about to get more information about. And it looks like this was the author's recording.
Apparently, this was tapes of an interview that the president gave to the author that was working on the book for Mark Meadows, former chief of staff. President Trump had some of his staff in there. The author said he was recording it, and eventually that tape ended up with the special counsel because they asked for tapes. And there's nothing that was prohibiting the owner of the tape, here the writer, from distributing that. He gave it to CNN. So it's out there. I think people are overanalyzing the significance of this, or saying, "Oh, this is a bombshell." I saw the commentators on CNN.
It, yeah.
It's you got to listen to what it is to understand what he's saying, and then realize that the burden of proof is still on the government to actually show this document existed, and so far, nobody has it.
So this is the key sound that they say is the smoking gun, that Donald Trump kept classified documents to utilize them, which, by the way, isn't really actually in the charge. The charge is that he just had the documents.
Right.
There's a different charge for using the documents. Alan Dershowitz actually said, stop using the word espionage, because even though it falls under the Espionage Act, espionage is the second part of the act, which carries much higher penalties, and that's already tainting the jury pool by saying espionage,
Right.
when in fact this is a crime that doesn't require any kind of giving over of information to people.
Right.
They're saying this is that evidence. Now, I want you to just take a listen closely. You all know how President Trump talks. We're going to break it down for you in 2 bites so we can explain each as they go. Here's Donald Trump. This is in July of 2021.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Mm-hmm. Except it is like highly confidential, secret.
All this was General Milley had out there that Donald Trump wanted to attack Iran. Now, I could tell you, Jordan can tell you, because we've been in that Oval Office a lot with him, this was a guy that the president was risk-averse on war.
Yeah, he would only attack Iran if Iran was about to launch a nuclear missile into the United States.
Yes,
I really do believe that.
And it was because of his concern of losing lives of troops and civilians.
Right.
So that's number one. So this is in response to Milley. So that part, there is nothing here. There's nothing in there that is illegal. There's nothing that now Jack Smith is going to say he's already pointing to that this document that he's allegedly holding is highly confidential, secret.
He found it yet at that point. He was flipping through things.
They have not found it as far as we know at this point.
I'm not sure he found it if you listen to the audio.
He probably remembers the document from when he was in the White House, because I'm sure they gave him a detailed
fairly
plan.
Shocking document to receive that he didn't request.
Right.
That's one thing he did not like. He did not like these military leaders constantly coming to him with war plans that he didn't ask for. Their job is to create war plans that he asked for. If he says, hey, could you give me some options if we needed to do something bigger in Iran, or if we need to do something bigger in name country, then they are supposed to. They're not supposed to be pressuring the president into more conflict. And I think what he did, when you look at the president's kind of his way of defense, was to use special forces and then focus on the really bad actors. And if you can use a drone to get rid of them instead of a plane, do that. And I mean, you look at the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, gone. gone, and it threw Iran into a spin that they are just starting to.
Only getting out of it now because the Biden administration is giving them rope to get out.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play the second. This is the second part, and this is where they think this is the gotcha part.
This is the smoking gun for the left.
This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time, you know.
she'd send it, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner, the pervert.
Please print.
By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying, because we were talking about it. And, he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to figure out
See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So, to me, I hear that, and Dad, I'll get your thoughts. To me, I hear that it's like I'm not sure if he ever found the document because he keeps slipping through paper.
Sure.
Then second, it's not clear that he actually showed it to the person.
Here's what the left is harping on, and this is what Jack Smith's going to do in the proceedings. He does say these are not declassified. So that's number one. So they're going to say, well, he didn't declassify the document. Number two, the staffer says now we have a problem. But she's kind of half laughing when she says it.
You're right.
But this is interesting. Now, you said, so is that the smoking gun? It's smoke. I'm just not sure there's a gun.
Which means the document.
I'm not sure there's a document. And if there's not a document, then this is hyperbole or puffing talk is not the way it goes.
Well, he's trying to beat a narrative from Milley that said he was the one that wanted to invade Iran. So
correct.
now he came up with a story. To me, it was a Donald Trump special of,
hyperbole.
Let me tell you something. It never came from me. It came from Milley. Flip.
Look at this stuff.
I can't really show you this stuff, but it exists. And then,
but they haven't found the document that
they don't find the document, but they have this. What does it mean?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it would be admissible.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be. His statement would be admissible as to what? You'd have to show that there's. You've got to show that the charge is the possession,
right,
of retaining a classified document. So if I say I've got this classified document here, but actually what I have is the rundown for our broadcast today, I didn't tell the truth if that was the way it came out, but that's not a crime.
No.